Welcome to the IVM Podcast Network.
Just to remind everybody that language usage and content that we provide here may be disturbing, disgusting, probably will be and should be. Words like bloody custard and words that rhyme with that may be featured. Actually will be featured. In fact, perhaps will only be featured. Just warning you. Yes, this show is brought to you by Wow Tables.
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
Alright, I traditionally have a problem with people asking me to take off my shoes. I just think it's wrong. If I come to your house, please don't ask me to take off my shoes. Why do we have to take off our shoes? Why are my shoes insulting your house? Where in the world do people take out their shoes? Next thing you say, take off your pants, take off your shirt, take off everything, walk around like an idiot. No, I'm not doing it. I'm saying you invite me to your house, this is me. Don't change me once I enter your house. Don't say, okay, you're too short. Go 2 inches up. Okay, now spread your hands this way, look like a duck. Okay, great. Now put your tongue out. Yeah, now touch your nose with your tongue. Great. Now take off your shoes. No, it doesn't work. I'm me. I come in with the shoes. Want me to take off anything else? It costs money. Cyrus Says, coming soon.
Cyrus Says ad breaks are beneficial to your mental health.
This show is brought to you by Wow Tables. I spoke to Kunal and Deepa, the founders, about Wow Tables. Now tell us, what does it entail completely? How can we save money, we're Indians? We're not interested in anything else but how we can save money and enjoy a good meal.
So we've got curated dining experiences at some of the nicest restaurants in several cities in India now.
Okay.
And apart from the fact that we guide you into what to order and what to not, we also help you save at least 30 to 50% on that.
What are you saying? 30 to 50% on a meal?
That's right.
I'm in. Count me in. I eat a lot. You better be careful. Don't want to break the
And
bottle.
you get to have multiple courses.
Oh, so you can tell I eat a lot, huh? Deepa, that's very rude. It was not necessary. That was mean. Visit wowtables.com to book an experience and use the code Cyrus Says to get 500 rupees off on your first reservation. I repeat, 500 rupees off. That's 100 plus 100 plus 100 plus 100 plus another 100. Yeah, that's right.
And that's what Cyrus says.
Yes, it's Cyrus Says that I've got in the studio May, who's our lead producer, and Amit, who is the entrepreneur who started this entire webcasting, web posting, web podding conflagration, which we call...
Podcasts.
But the name of the company, I was saying.
The IVMPodcasts.com.
Or also Henry, as I call them.
Hi.
It's much easier to just say Henry and
I could say I'm the seductive voice.
You are a very pretty voice on a otherwise ugly voice show. We are our first podcast trio in the history of podcasts, because we are 3 hosts now together. And that didn't work in the famous Julius Caesar days when they had the triumvirate trying to run Rome. It didn't work. I'm going to warn you right now. So no shouting, no fighting. We have to have a lead anchor, and it's a democracy and an egalitarian setup. So I will decide. Right. And I will decide that it's me.
Thanks. You know what? I was having a conversation with Amit where we're putting together.
No, mate, you have to raise your hand if you're going to speak.
I know. I'm not raising my hand.
Speak.
I'll raise my voice.
Speak.
So I was thinking, okay, we need to have like some sort of...
Stop.
No!
I'm the lead anchor. No. I will decide when to stop. I thought that was enough.
No, we're gonna. So I was thinking.
Following the Mandal Commission report, the Mahila Commission has mentioned 10% of time for the lady, and then we have to go back to
I don't.
I'm kidding. Please go.
So basically,
don't raise your hand. Don't be silly. Put your hand down.
Slap me, not raise my hand.
Suddenly the Malayalam accent comes out. You were saying?
So I was thinking we need to like seduce people in some sort of way. So if we're going to be presenting like our different podcasts, and I literally in the rickshaw when I was listening to this, I was like, IVM Podcast Network, and I was like, seduce them with my voice.
At which point
the rickshaw guy just braked.
He banged his brake, was it? Euphemistically, metaphorically.
IVM Podcast Network.
All right. So let's do one thing before we start the show. It's a good way to start, actually. Let's set this up. Let's all bring out our sexiest voice, and we'll decide who's the sexiest podcaster of them all.
Amit is so nervous right now.
Amit is practicing under his breath. How dare you, Amit? Yeah. You should practice and come. Go ahead.
Okay, well, my sexiest voice?
Yes, please.
All right. So, this is the IVM. No, that's not sexy. That's scary.
That's
it sounds like you're going to throw it back.
No, that's constipation. That's like it's just not coming out. What the hell is that? Bring
this
it out.
Is the IVM Podcast Network.
That was like a lion.
Nice.
That was
Killer engineers added some of that reverb.
May I, which is your name as well, I just want to quickly say that for me was like a lion being constipated, because it had a regality about it, a majesty, and then yet it was
the
like, I can't come out. Yeah, it's like stuck. May, you want to go next? Go ahead.
What do you want me to say?
Your sexiest voice.
My sexiest voice?
Yeah.
Take your pants off.
Me, that's not the kind of show we have.
No, that's not.
And besides which, as you know, me and Amit are constantly nude.
Hey, you're constipated. I was just helping out, you know.
Come on, give it a shot. Give it a shot. Come on, he was sporting enough. Give us a nice I'm May in a very sexy voice.
I'm May. Sorry.
That's not going to cut it, May.
I know.
You got to do better than that.
Sorry, I gotta.
I'm sorry, this is just random, but there's a big-ass balloon outside the window.
There is?
That's our neighbor.
There is a giant balloon outside
Mr.
the window.
Parker. He's a little large. Go on. Sexy voice.
Hi, guys. I'm May.
I don't know. For me, that was too slutty.
Slutty?
Yeah,
Seductive?
I didn't find. I felt
That's
too much.
That's really mean. You know what? That's like saying
it was like you're trying too hard.
I'm not trying too hard. I'm being honest.
I have a slutty voice too. I'm just saying.
No, you don't.
I like Amit was still holding back.
That wasn't slutty. That was seductive.
I don't
There's
know.
a very,
Amit, what did you
very
think?
fine
Amit,
line.
was it seductive or
Amit,
slutty?
you're going to get so slapped if you say the word slut.
I didn't say any of the words at all. I didn't say slutty. I didn't say seductive.
I know, but if you do.
But if you stay awake while we're talking, it would help.
There's a very fine line between seductive and slutty.
All right, now let's move on to the show because this is wasting our time.
All right, okay.
Granting and raving about your sexy voices which don't exist. You sound like animals in heat, and I'm looking at penguins here. Nothing less than that. All right, let's talk about Republic Day, which was some time ago now.
Yeah.
But your thoughts on our great nation as she goes into 67th year?
Can I just say something? I did see the
You're not even
parade.
an Indian. Are you an Indian? You're from Bahrain. That's right. So you still have Indian citizenship. I don't want any trouble
I've
later.
got a blue passport.
You have a blue passport?
Even I have a blue passport.
But the Indian one's blue, right?
So is the American one.
Oh, I didn't know that. So
Most
by the way,
passports are
I don't have a cover, so I don't know what color it is.
By the way, I did see the parade, the Republic Day parade.
What do you think of it?
At Rajpath. Hey,
Did you see the dog squad do their thing? They were very good.
I saw the dogs.
Shepherds
I saw everything. I saw all the floats. I think it's amazing. They do this like 6 months in advance, right? Like the whole parade, they're planning for it and everything.
It's like the Olympics. You practice, and then if you qualify, you qualify.
And President Hollande was there as well.
Yeah. Is it Hollande Day or is it Hollande? I just can't pick that up.
This is not Maharashtra, man.
No, but they have a whole day. It's like Hollande. It's like the French.
Hollande.
They don't like to finish conversations. It's always left half open. So it's like Hollande and it stays.
So we had...
Is it Ramayan or Ramayana? Or is it Ramayana?
Ramayana.
No. Yeah, see, these are questions that we pose to the audience from time to time.
So, I mean, like, is the French president visiting during Republic Day a thing? Because I remember there was, like, a big thing when Mitterrand had visited during Republic Day, too.
He had many years ago.
Yeah, and there was, like, this crazy air show and stuff like that.
Because they used to buy all our planes from France.
Everything. So the Navy, the Army, every state.
Off the record, we used to, all our MiGs and all come from France. Right. And France, aeronautically, was supposed to be top of the line. This is before we realized that they make French fries as well. And let me just tell you, I was told off the record, Mitterrand all came to India just to collect the money. Because, as usual, the interaction, they would send the plane and we would be like, coming. And
money is coming soon.
Yeah, so they would come in just to collect the money. Hands, on, as far as bills go. That's the French way. But this is different. I think there's a certain brotherliness between the two countries because we both are huge victims of terrorism in now they're really seeing it firsthand for the first time in this last 2015. That bonded the two countries and we were sitting on it all the time. So, in a sense, I think it's a good choice. But I also like his choice of people. I hate to put a class system in world affairs, but it's nice to have like the top 5 coming and going. So far in the last few years, it has been. So we've had Barack Obama a couple of years back. We've got So
last year, wasn't it? For Independence Day.
There you go. So
no, it wasn't 2015 Independence Day, was it?
All right, we'll Google that. But the point is, we've got the creme de la creme with the big countries. We're not really getting East Timor. Although he's welcome. He's welcome.
I'm sure they visit too.
They do, but they're not allowed on 26 for some reason. 27th, fine. Pop in. All right, May, let's start with you. Since you're examining your phone, your thoughts...
He did come here. 2015 Independence Day.
Yeah.
He was our guest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Right.
Republic Day.
No, Independence Day.
No, it was...
That's a film.
No, we were talking about this before we started the podcast. Remember, we were sitting in your office and talking about Barack Obama and how they shut down all the cell phones at Gateway of India. That was in March, so it wasn't August. It wasn't August 15th.
No, he's visited India more than once, but he was a special guest for the Independence Day celebration.
He almost took part in the Lok Sabha election.
I think it was 2014 Independence Day.
Yes, I think you're right.
No, man. Okay.
I think the podcast is the wrong place for us to sit and argue about what date it was. Well, let's take a little forward.
Okay, all right, let's move on.
The point being that we get the cream. Now, moving on to how do you say we're doing? We do this every few months, and listeners, if you're listening, and I hope you are, we try and, this is our panel because we try and have no agenda on our show, but we like to look back at the year at some point, a couple of times in the year at least, amongst our 3 of us, and try and see where we're going as a country, if we are
Are we going anywhere right now? I mean, like this.
Me?
Yeah.
Well, you left sunny Gulf countries to come and work here. So what's your take?
I left the UK to work here. Technically, I'm still there. My dad's still there.
All right. So what's your take about India? Me? Stay with the program.
I wouldn't leave. Not yet. Unless I'm enjoying India a lot. Even though I gotta say there's some weird things that are still happening here that are just messing with me.
But commercially, are you happy? You think things are happening? You've got a podcast going on. You've got all kinds of plans in place. You're getting married next year.
No, too. I might need someone for that.
I'm told it's a famous Bollywood actor, but we'll get to that.
Really?
Yeah.
Who? Can you tell me? Because I don't know.
We'll figure that out. No, but my point here is that we always go on, and I'm not trying to sing a song for the present government from any angle, but we always try and say that, paint a bad picture. To some extent, Anupam Kher is right in that sense. I'm not taking a side either. But, so maybe it's not that bad.
Oh, no, I don't think it is, right? I mean, like, I think that
from an artist's point of view, is it that bad? I mean, you're still working?
It's not at all. I think a lot of that stuff is kind of overblown, the idea of
intolerance. Can't say this, can't do that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, nobody's stopping anybody from saying anything on a regular basis. There are these occasions when things happen, right? I mean, like in Gujarat, during this, the Patel thing, because of that,
strife.
Because of that, they like cut off internet all over the place, and you weren't allowed to do WhatsApp at certain times, and all that kind of stuff.
What was Patel's first name again?
Go for it. Hardik?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all you were looking for. These cheap thrills, man.
I was hoping he'd just keep it subtle, but he had to go and spend 15 minutes saying, what's his name? Patel, Hardik, finish over. We move on to the next thing. No. You had to go and...
You wanted to laugh.
Slow down.
We've underlined it, we've highlighted it, we've put it in apostrophes, and now we're going to slow-mo play it again 5 times.
You know what? This is a slutty show.
This is a slutty show. All right, topic number 2, since India is not interesting for you enough and you don't want to talk about it, and intolerance seems to be something that's slipped everybody's mind.
No, I think intolerance is an issue, right? But I don't think it's as big an issue as people make it out to be.
What's your take on Amir Khan? I mean, he's getting flack from the other actors.
I think what Amir Khan said was just something he said, right? He knew he was going to get a reaction to it.
He shouldn't have got pillared the way he did.
It was brutal. I mean, it's just, you're making a mountain out of a molehill. Really.
That's exactly it, right? I mean, it's one of the things that I see with the way that people react.
Why do we react so overtly? Are we just over-emotional?
It's just overreaction to everything. There's an inability to kind of look at things in multiple...
Filter. And see perspectives.
No, so I mean, like, what Amir Khan was... What did Amir Khan say, right?
He said his wife was thinking that in these times, maybe it's better to stay abroad. That's
exactly. Now, are these not conversations that people have all the time?
All the time. Yeah. Every day I'm at the British Embassy and they say, no, we have a watchman already. You don't need more watchmen. Happens all the time.
No, but I mean, like, people have these conversations. I mean, I had this conversation. We had this conversation. Yeah. I was talking about, I need to move out of town and move to Car because of the traffic, right? I mean, like, that doesn't mean that I'm going to move to Car tomorrow.
Although that's not the same analogy as leaving the country.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but it's just... right-wing person will say, you go to Car, you're still in the country. But
there you go to Dadar.
That's a South Mumbai issue, huh? No, but that's very, very small community of you, me and 2 more people.
I get that, but my point is that, I mean, like, these kinds of conversations, maybe not one of my cousins is talking about moving to Pune, right? Or one of my, I mean, like,
at least cross state lines, for God's sake, so we have regionalism.
Yeah, I know.
If you want to metaphorize correctly. Say he's going to Gujarat.
So he's selling out as a Maharashtrian. Moving from the US and moving to Ahmedabad.
That now is the problem, the democratic government in power, not you.
No, but I mean, like, the thing is that, I mean, like,
why can't he just say that he was feeling scared for a day and thought maybe it's good to live in a neutral country where you don't have any sort of issues going on.
These are just conversations. It doesn't seem like to me. It seems
to make him out to be like the bad man of India. Granted, he's done some bad films, but what the hell? I mean, he's just an actor doing his thing. It's not ridiculous.
But at the same time, the other side is ridiculous as well, right? I mean, like, demonizing Amir Khan is kind of ridiculous, but at the same time, this thing that there is so much intolerance in India that all of a sudden has become a country where...
Although with the rationalists, I mean, it's still not clear. The way they've been picked up and shot, and there's no leads and they're not leading anywhere. We're not able to find out.
That's something that, I mean, like, as a rationalist myself, I'm very invested in this particular aspect of things, right? But I mean, I feel that, there is an issue over there. There is a problem over there, but I don't think that is an intolerance problem. And
everything can't be traced back to the Prime Minister and his band of 5 merry men, which is the 4 officers who travel with him.
And this whole thing about, like, Amir Khan, I saw this beautiful TED Talk. Monica Lewinsky did a TED Talk, and... I know it's slutty show.
Isn't it sad that even now when you think of Monica Lewinsky, you only think of one thing? She's done so much more with her life after that.
Exactly.
Like what, Amit?
No,
so
in this talk, she actually, it was really beautifully put. The first thing she asked everyone in the audience is like, have you ever had a crush on your boss? Like, that was the first question.
May, have you had a crush on Amit? Technically.
I'm sorry, Amit.
Oh, damn. Sorry to interrupt your flow.
Right.
So, and what did they say?
I did have a crush
say?
on my boss a long time
So that's
ago.
a great opening because everybody
but it
said
was
yes.
and everyone was like, yeah, I did at some point, like in my life. And she's like, well, like this is what happened to me. And she basically tells what she went through. And it's like this thing where something so tiny gets used in the media or used in...
Here's my thing, just as an aside. My boss in Radio Star, the first thing I ever did was Jitin Hemdev, 45-year-old married man. My boss in MTV was Sunil Lulla, at that point 45-year-old married man. And then Alex Kurva, 45-year-old married man with a mustache. So I just want to tell you, I never had a crush.
You're lucky.
Now it's Amit. So it's unmarried man, but still man. Back to you, May.
No, but it's like a small thing that gets tainted either in the media or the cyberspace or whatever it is, because she's very much advocating for this whole like anti-cyberbullying and that kind of thing, and how it can affect you.
But they can never take away the notoriety, if that's the right word.
So she was like, she was one of the first people who came at that intersection when media changed dramatically at that time, right? When she came to popularity is when the internet was first starting to become a real force.
She was wrong place, right time.
Wrong place, right time, exactly. So like the Drudge Report made its name on the back of Monica Lewinsky, essentially, right? All the rumors, everything that was coming out, they would constantly push that.
You can't have an international scandal with the world's most powerful man, sex scandal, and not have it remain with you. It's just impossible.
No, it's going to come out, but
it's going to come out, but the way it came out and how, like, what she went through in the process of that was really bad.
The least of which were the jokes we all did.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like Bill Clinton had affairs before Monica Lewinsky, right? There were affairs that came out during his initial election. None of those women got the same kind of notoriety, right? I mean, I can't even.
She held the flag for the affairs.
No, so I mean, like, well, what essentially happened was that her affair became public at a time when people started getting news in a different way. Yeah. The entire way that the media industry happened, the media industry was in the late 90s. It's a sea change. I mean, like, and we're still feeling that today, right? So I mean, like, she kind of got caught up in that, right? I mean, there was a very interesting book that was written by somebody about like all these people who get caught up in these media frenzies, right? So I mean, like, there was this woman who who made an AIDS joke before going to South Africa, and she was on the plane on the way to South Africa when she tweeted that joke. And that joke went viral, and it was like, she made like it was a stupid joke, right? It was a joke with something to do with I'm going to Africa, better make sure I don't get AIDS or something dumb like that, right? It was a really, really bad joke. She was a PR woman who used to work for, I think, Match.com and those websites and stuff like that. While she was on the flight, her tweet went like so ridiculously viral, it's not even funny. By the time she got off the plane, she had like tens of thousands of replies to her message. People threatening to kill her. I mean, like, it was ridiculous.
Well, having said that, and I'm all for tongue-in-cheek humor, but as a PR person sending it out on the internet, I mean, who's her PR?
But this is the thing. This woman put this information out. Monica was just like, Monica Lewinsky, like, what had happened to her and the way it happened to her. Like, they were in the talk. She literally mentions about, like, there were points in time where people were like this. They're like, you should die. You're not even worth living on Earth. Like, and she was like, my parents were like there for me throughout the whole time. She's like, I had to like have a shower with the bathroom open because my parents were scared that I was going to do something to myself. She didn't, and she was like, I got through it, and I realized that there are a lot of people that are going through this. There are teenage kids that are like committing suicide because they're being bullied.
Just sound out Indian listeners all over the world. If you've had a relationship with a political personality of high importance in India, please contact us to guide you through the after effects. Me and Amit know what you're going through, and we'll keep the bathroom door open at all points.
Yeah.
Well, back. Not to throw light on the situation, but I have the answer to all this. That's because it's a sexist world.
Yeah, it is.
So now it doesn't matter what she does, because at the end of the day, the Aam Aadmi, the normal person, the person who's not really connected with politics or doesn't read in depth, will not be interested in knowing that she's doing such and such a thing for the environment or such and such a thing for, Greenpeace or whatever. They'll just remember this. And that's the sad part.
No, but that's, I mean, like, to kind of flip it to the Indian side, right? I mean, like, there was that interview a few days ago on CNN IBN of Sunny Leone. Right?
Oh, God. With Bhupin.
With Chobe, right? I mean, like, it's the same thing. You get to put a certain label on somebody, and then you stick to that label no matter what, even to the point of ridiculousness.
Yeah.
It was, and can I tell you, like, hats off to her. Like, she was just, and
But
there's so many celebrities
she
nowadays.
did an interview with another very nice man the next day, and it was very nice. You watched that interview, which played out on a show called The Week That Wasn't. Much better one.
Oh, really? She was on
much
your show?
better, much better. Yeah.
Man, I gotta watch your
But,
show.
because it was a fun interview, and I don't know, I know Bhupen and we've worked with him and all that, but I can't understand why you treat Mulayam Singh Yadav and Sunny Leone the same. When you sit, this is not hard talk,
Right,
This is an actress doing a film. Okay, granted, whatever her past is or isn't, it's really irrelevant. And beyond the point, it's humiliating for you to try and make someone uncomfortable. So I don't understand why you do that.
No, but then also as an interviewer, you realize when the interview's not going well. I mean, how can you not
But
be that
she's a soft
perceptive?
target. Why are you being a bully?
No, but-
I mean, you got politicians and name changers and world changers in front of you. You take them on. When people are causing riots and inciting violence, you take them on. When people are indulging in caste and communal politics, take them on. When people are for nuclear proliferation, take them on. But not somebody who's acting in some silly film one way or the other. How does it matter?
Yeah.
You're just being a bully.
Yeah, no,
Even I don't do that. And I'm the lowest of the low. So that was very disappointing, and I think he got a lot of flack, as you all know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And like you said, we learn on the spot now, immediately.
Yeah.
It's not like the old days where the review will come out years later. Within 1 minute, you made a mistake.
Exactly. No, but that's
sure
what I'm
he did.
saying. Like, even during the interview, you realize when something may not necessarily be going
Yeah, why would you
your
continue?
way.
Absolutely.
Why would you? Wouldn't you just, like, steer it another direction?
And may I say one thing about pornography in general? It is not the worst crime. I'm not saying that we should endorse it, but if somebody chooses to do that and it's legal in a country like Canada, who am I to judge?
Yeah.
Well, that's, people have to pay bills. They do what they have to. They're not
And
destroying people. They're not burning
The thing
houses
is,
and villages and killing children.
She literally said she has no regrets. Like, she said, I mean, if someone says that, then let it go.
I think that was wrong.
agree.
Bhupen, we are not happy with that. But since you're a friend of mine, I will protect you. But don't do it again. Yeah. He's promised not to do it again. You
It's
can't
not
hear
gonna
him.
hand.
He's
Yeah.
in Delhi, and our feed doesn't go to Delhi. It bypasses and goes straight to Mehrauli, and then from there keeps on towards mythical Saraswati River, which doesn't exist anymore, and then towards the Indus, and from there crosses to Pakistan proper, and then Pakistan, we get no information. All right, so let's move on from this very painful story. But I think this is the one problem we're going to have now for the next few years, which is that if you have something sensational, especially something with negative connotations, especially something with sexual or some sort of corruption attached to it, or nepotism, or something which is very negative, it'll just stay with you. You Google the person, that'll be top of the line.
Right.
It'll be in the 10 Commandments, it'll always be Monica Lewinsky affair with Bill Clinton. And let's say she wins the Peace Prize, she'll still have that
It'll
on top.
still be there. Yeah. That's a first line of your obituary, right? I mean, like, that's
Yeah,
always
that's
going to
it.
be that, right?
How sad.
So
Even the
then,
obituary-
what about the opposite? Like, people who are well known for doing, like, I mean, one of the most famous selfies is like Ellen DeGeneres when she did that selfie at the Oscars,
Right.
and that went viral. That went like
Right.
everywhere. What about like the happy moments when things go viral and people go crazy because they're just good people? I mean, this is
guess
one I
that
can
does
remember.
happen, but I mean, like, how?
Yeah, but that's not as bad. There's more accident, more of
Yeah,
circumstance.
no, I don't think that there is.
No, but not just. I'm just saying, like if bad things go viral, why can't good things go viral?
Good things do go viral.
Like what? Someone came here asking for
Well, the
examples.
other day
It's
I
kind of
took a picture
conversation.
of my feet and went viral. Good things do go viral.
So the human,
Viral, like you had an
Well, you
infection,
got a
or like
picture- you see a kid burping and all. I think that's pretty good. Cheers everybody
No,
up.
but I mean that there's that Facebook page, right?
Yeah.
Humans of Bombay.
oh yeah,
That goes viral all the time, right? Everything
true.
on that goes viral. That's
And there are
like
only 2 humans in Bombay. I mean, actual humans. Rest of them are like us. All right, shall we just steer the topic away now? All
right, let's
We've had
move on.
enough
Let's
of
move
all
on to
this.
something else.
Intolerance. I want to talk about this whole American attitude towards the Oscars and award ceremonies, and the fact that they're all making fun of the fact that there's no blackishness involved in the present scenario going up to the Oscars.
Okay.
I'm a little worried here that sometimes we take our racism, again, they're behaving like we are behaving, taking it perhaps too far. Because what if there is, it may happen also that this black representation cannot be done in a way where you have to do it. You know what I'm saying? If
I get
you're
what you're
forced
saying.
to do
I
it,
get what
or
you're
you
saying.
think
No,
as a
but then,
creative person,
okay,
I need
say-
to put a black character in the. That's what happens in TV shows and all. I mean,
you could say the same
tokenism is
thing
the
for
worst
like
thing, right?
Filmfare Awards. Why aren't there enough South Indian films in Filmfare Awards? I mean, I
no,
don't
but
know.
listen,
like,
South Indian film is a different world altogether.
that's my point. Like, if you're looking at
They have
an
a South
Indian
Indian-
Film Awards, I'm like, it goes the same way.
But they have a Femina for South Indian films. It's a different. They have a whole
What's the
different.
Femina?
Filmfare for something.
Sorry, Filmfare for
There's a
South Indian
separate one
cinema.
for South Indian?
Yes. Research, lady. No, but I get what you're saying. But let's stick to this because it's doing the rounds all across.
No, so I don't agree with this idea at all. That I mean, like that there are institutional issues within the movie industry in the U.S. when it comes to whitewashing stuff, right? Where the idea of having white people play all roles, there's a problem with that. The movie Avatar: The Last Airbender, right, directed by M. Night Shyamalan, the Indian guy,
not so white. Yeah,
the entire cast of that is full of white people. If you look at the original cartoon,
so did he do a disservice?
Yeah, I think so, because one, the movie sucked. So
he did the movie.
He did a disservice just in the movie sucking.
But why should he have to? Why can't he just cast people because he feels they fit such and such without thinking of race?
No, but see, there is a difference between colorblindness and whitewashing, right? I mean, like I don't think that you should whitewash, right? I also don't think that you should ignore race when you are doing your casting. I think race is an important aspect.
Yeah, but if we have this thing on our shoulder all the time that God, I have to put one Parsi, one Catholic, one Sikh, one Muslim, four Hindus. So it shows a sort of secular society. I think that's bullshit.
That's bullshit. That is bullshit.
If I make a film or whatever, a play or whatever, and I want to cast these 8 people because I think they fit the part.
Right.
Incidentally, they're all Brahmins, or they're all Dalits, or they're all Muslim, or whatever. That's the way it is.
I think that's fine. I don't think
so. Do you think that America has this whitishness of this present awards season? Mm-hmm. Do you think it's intentional?
No. So there are a lot of different things to unpack here, right? So first is it's not intentional. That it's not like people are deciding, hey, screw it, we're not gonna nominate black people this year. It's not. That's not what's happening.
No.
Revenant. Even the snow is white.
I agree with you. Like, especially if you're a director of a movie.
Right.
I know so many of my friends are in the creative line, and you think about whoever fits the part. People audition, people come in, and you find the right person for the part. You don't go, oh, he's black, so I must have him.
Please understand, when they choose the films for the Oscars and the Golden Globes and all, out of 500 films, about 8 films are doing all the awards. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
it's just coincidental that those 8 films may not have enough ethnicity in them. But
that's not coincidental, right?
That's what you're saying.
Yeah, it is.
But I'm saying, why can't it be coincidental? Revenant, the guy's in snow all the time. Snow is white, for example.
Because the thing is that the makeup of people who make movies matters, right?
Right.
If you look at the people who are behind Hollywood films as such, right? Especially if you look at like the executive ranks and those kinds of things. You look at the writers. Okay.
So you're saying they're going out of their way to make sure films like Last Martian or Second, whatever it's called, Revenant, etc., don't have colored people in it?
No, they don't do this intentionally. No. But when you're trying to do something, you always try and pick people who are like you. Okay, when you are working on something,
so it's a passive racism.
It's a passive kind of thing, right? It's the same thing in like the technology field.
It's why you picked me for the podcast, because we both like to eat the same food and not work more than 14 minutes a day.
Because we both like to go out from work.
But why did we pick me?
That's a good question.
She's so much prettier and nicer. She's a better human being.
And she lives
carries herself with dignity and self-respect.
And I live in Andheri.
She lives in Andheri. God, gotta take a break. That's not. I mean, that's scaring people away. Who lives in Andheri? What kind of life is that?
Sorry.
Why?
For some time.
What went wrong? Tell us everything after the break.
Cyrus says, stop picking your nose, listen to this ad.
Hi, I'm Amit Gurbaksani.
I'm Purva Mehra.
And I'm Pranoti Datta. And we're from a city website called The Daily Pow. And we have a new podcast called The Powcast. So you can listen to us on the Indus Vox SoundCloud page as well as iTunes, Stitcher, and TuneIn.
And that's what Cyrus says.
Welcome back, and Amit and me are arguing about the whitishness here. My only point is, in law, it's all about malice and intent.
Right.
If malice is there and intent is there, it's different. But if coincidentally, I do a film about a guy stuck in snow, and whether he's white, blue, green, or yellow, I mean, really, honestly, the guy's, as you said, colorblind in that point.
And I don't think there is malice or ill intent over here, so I don't think this should be against the law in any way.
Yeah. But do you agree with the perception that this present season in international American films, or rather, whatever, American world cinema, that has been represented in these 5-6 award shows, there is a very less, almost exclusive white representation?
What I would say is that the way Hollywood is structured, right, the people who make decisions are mostly white. Okay, so when they are looking at making movies, okay, they will look at people who are like them. It's the same in the technology industry. In the technology industry, it's either white or Asian. So you look at all of the people who are coming into the technology industry in the US, it's all white and Asian.
I get your point. The role models itself, in a sense.
Exactly. So
role model is the role model.
And the opportunities that you provide, right? I mean, like if you're a white dude who went to a Ivy League college or went to a top 10 college, you're not going to have all that much in common with a black dude who went to a historically black college, or an Asian dude who or an Indian guy who
went to college in 2 years while you took 4 years,
and then came to the US to work. You don't have that much in common. That's not the kind of person you're going to bring onto your team. Unless you make a conscious effort to do that.
I didn't even want to bring that up, but you're right. Forget the black issue. What about the brown issue? We weren't even mentioned at all.
That is always there, right? I mean, like Indian people, Indians in the Oscars, outside of Gandhi, which is again a completely whitewashed movie, right? I mean, like
even Gandhi was only half Indian, and that's only racially because born and bred there 2,000 years ago.
But I mean, like it was a very whitewashed kind of film that they made in Gandhi. But outside of once you go past that, I can't.
Slumdog Millionaire was slightly Indianish. Anil Kapoor is Indian.
Anil Kapoor is Indian. Dev Patel is Indian.
Dev Patel, Indian descent. I don't count Dev Patel. Those are all guys who were born there.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm saying, and the kids who were used, vaguely Indian. But that was like Indian season. We'll honor them and never speak about them again.
Exactly. Let's do it. Let's get it done.
It's just lovely.
Push it. Yeah. And that kind of stuff happens every so often. There's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon for Asian
China. Let's give Chinese people for 10 years and then don't bother us.
Right. So, but you know,
when are they going to give Iran the respect they deserve? We have some great filmmakers.
Iran has some fantastic movies.
Really good movies.
They should win the mainstream Oscars.
That's the other thing, right? Why are the Oscars still the be-all, end-all, right? I mean, this is...
I know, film fair is so much better.
No, nobody not film fair, but I mean, like, some sort of international award, I think, would make much more sense.
Much higher standards.
In today's world, I think some sort of...
Pan Masala Z Awards.
No, but right now, it's either the Golden Globes or it's the Oscars. But Oscars are still number one. I mean, Golden Globes is still...
That's the gold standard, but it's kind of...
Okay, so in a nutshell, is Hollywood racist?
Not intentionally, not racist.
Passive racist.
But, I mean, there are issues of race that need to be addressed.
You help your own, you push your own, and you don't intentionally not help others, but that's the way it is.
Would you say, like, if you had India, like the quota system, would you say there should be an award for, like,
no, in India, I don't believe India does at all.
No, in India,
I don't believe in it. I'm just asking a question.
In India, I'll tell you what the difference is. It's a old boys club. It's different. So what happens here is it's not about in Bollywood, it's not about the communalism and all. That's not a very... It's about camp spot.
Yeah.
So you've got to be friends. You've got to be people, and they're mostly like-minded friends. There's a certain, class likeness, so there's a certain, friendliness, or the connection, or the influences are culturally the same. Yeah. Exactly. So there is, in a sense, racism, but it's not as obvious as black and white or
it's not that I'm not going to
Punjabi and Tamil. It's not like that. It's more to do with the type.
It's just exactly. People hang out with the people.
And like that's why we had to let Vagish go. We had to let Vagish go. We wanted to keep him, but we had to let him go because ours is an old boys club, and he's a young boy. Makes us look bad.
Really?
We got rid of him.
I'm not a boy or a man.
Yeah. All right, now let's go to a slightly lighter, not really lighter, but slightly more interesting topics, which is Indian men. I think every so often we need you to tell us about Indian men, what we're doing right and wrong.
Sure.
Is there anything that we're doing right?
Yeah.
Is there anything?
What are the top 5?
Self-deprecating, I like it.
What are the top 5 things you notice that need to improve? I know there's much more, but if you had to start somewhere, talking to Indian men in general, how do you help us become better men?
So, can I just say, I think I'm a pretty forward, confident woman generally. And I just think that men nowadays just don't know how to...
handle that.
No, either handle this or take initiative. Like, that's one of the things that I have just noticed about Indian men. They just do not go, you know what, and it's very few. It's not like it's never happened to me. I've dated men who've just been, like, so confident that they've bowled me over. There was a guy I didn't even want to date, and he just was so confident. I was like, I will do anything you want.
He was so confident he didn't notice you were there at the date. These things happen.
No.
He's like, I'll have 2 drinks for myself. Yeah.
No. So that's what I'm saying. I think a lot of the time...
So what are you saying? They're sheepish, they're self-contained, they're introverted, they're shy?
No, not all are introverted and shy. Some are confident, but I'm not someone who has an ego. Like, I think...
Can you give us an example of what you mean? How the guy behaves in this?
So the thing is, it's not about being an introvert. It's also this, like, weird power game thing. Like, guys like to have control, and I'm not control, no control. Like, that's not... I think there's this thing of, like, oh, well, if I don't message, she has to message first. And I'm like, I don't even understand what that means. Like, I've had guys and girls ask me, like, should I message him right now? I'm like, if you feel like messaging him, message him. If you don't, then don't. Like, and so there's always this, like, should I do first? So they
don't take the initiative because they're scared to look like they're interested.
Yeah, isn't that ridiculous?
Why are they scared to look like they're interested? Because they feel you'll reject them.
I had this conversation just last night with one of my friends. I went all the way to Thane, by the way.
Oh, in separate houses, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I was confused.
So we were having this conversation about guys, and the guy that she's with, she's not sure about him. But he was like, you know what, I really like you, and you take your time. And in that, she's like, I feel like I want him more now. Just because he's giving me the freedom that even though I'm not sure about him, I can take my time. And they're always, people always have this moment, especially with guys, they're like, you have to make a decision now, you have to go out with me now, here. I'm like, no. Like, why?
But hello, if a guy wants to go on a date, it's time bound.
The date.
Who can tell you, hi May, you're so lovely. Yeah, I'll give you 2 years. You choose the day, anytime in 2 years.
But that's not what she said, and that's not what he said. That's
the
not
man
even the
asks you on a
situation.
date, or traditionally in
It's
any
not
culture,
a
it's the
date.
same
I
thing.
didn't say he wants to marry her. She's like, I'm not sure.
Why does he want to marry her? Is he a priest? Hold for laughter. No, he wants to marry her with himself, as in intermarry the two of them.
I just
I thought
not
he was
giving you
like
any
a pandit. I'm sorry, I touched your intense bone here in terms of, and no pun intended, in terms of what the problems are with male society. But it's interesting to see from a girl's perspective because we don't get that. Especially I'm a married man. Amit never tells me what he's going through. Amit, what about the boy's perspective? You're still single. Are Indian women changing? Are they
wait a minute.
bolder like me?
We had Amit and I
it's difficult to
had
handle.
this really interesting conversation talking about Vagi. She told us about like a girl who was sort of like after him, sort of asking him out and wanting to hang out with him and that kind of thing. And he's like, I don't know what to do. I mean, it's too much. Maybe I should just... And Amit said something so beautiful. He's just like, dude, she's making all the effort. Why? You don't even need to try.
You're like I love you, Amit. You're like a lion.
I love Amit. I was just like, oh my god, I like you so much.
You're a real lion.
He's so cool. He's so nice. She's making all the effort. You don't even do anything but just accept it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, he's right.
So what did Vagesh do?
Oh, God knows. I don't really care anymore.
He's now with a young man called Ashok. I'll tell you. Okay, so that's one thing. Not showing initiative, not committing. Not just to marriage, but not committing to dates properly, not committing to calling back, not committing for whatever reason. Ego, fear of rejection, fear of taking it further.
But why?
Whatever.
Like
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Even for me, like I've asked guys out. Like if I've been interested, I'm like, hey, you're kind of cute. Do you want to like truly hang out?
And what does the guy say?
Well, yeah, they say yes because I'm awesome. No, I'm kidding. I mean, most of the time they say yeah. I'm not saying that I haven't got a no. I've had no's before. But then they say yes later because
I said no because I'm married and it's a public forum, and you wanted to go swimming. And which I thought was really odd for someone my age. And you want to humiliate me by making me take my shirt off. Yeah, you just want me to take my clothes off and laugh at me.
I don't never want to laugh at you.
Yeah, but so tell me when a guy says...
Let's do the breaststroke together.
Oh, we have 4 hands and 3 breasts. It's very embarrassing. So just tell me. So when a guy, if you can remember, when a guy said no, what would be his reason?
So he was like, you know what? Can we just be friends? And I said, okay, fine. And I didn't know what was going on.
Can I just be friends? You just asked him to go out for a drink, right, or dinner or whatever.
No, I asked him. I was like, can we totally make out?
And he said no. He's now in Shamak Dawa's dance classes where he's performing really well, and it's going to be the highest point of the pyramid when we do our famous Jan 3rd performance next year. Yeah,
and he was like, no. And then I was like, okay, fine. And then that was fine, and we were friends.
But were you okay? Because can women handle this sort of rejection?
So I was a little bit like, I wonder why. But then I didn't want to ask him personal questions. I don't know if he wasn't over an ex or if he's still interested in someone else, or maybe he just wasn't interested in me at all. Yeah. Like I should give him the benefit of the doubt.
But men handle this kind of rejection much worse. Am I right?
Yeah, they handle it much. I was cool. I was
rejected so much it became like classical conditioning.
You just kind of gotta.
I'm fine. I'm not used to people saying yes. Yeah. I'm like, hi, you look really good. Want to go out? And I'm already walking away. I mean, I've missed a yes once in a while.
No, I have, and I've also I've taken a guy on a date and I paid. Like I've done.
I paid in India is very normal. By the way, hello.
As a woman,
I don't get this about
women. Don't always pay. Women always assume.
May gender equality is very strange that way. Women want gender equality, rightly so, and all that, but suddenly the pay thing is like, oh, man must pay. I find it a little odd.
No, I always if I'm even if I'm on a date with a guy, I've always either paid my half, and I've even gone and paid the whole thing. I've taken a guy out like for breakfast at Le Pac at Tidiane, and I paid for the whole thing.
Well, let me tell you what I went through growing up. I used to take a girl out on a date, or rather we'd go out on a date together. I hate saying I used to and you used to. We'd go out together, and then after the date, I'd pay for the meal, and then she'd say, look at that table, those are my 3 friends, males normally, pay for them as well. And it's kind of humiliating. Yeah, it was really bad. I can't tell you. Life was hard, Amit.
Okay.
Girls have treated me very unfairly.
I have never heard of that before. And I've never done that before.
I have bonded with animals only because of girls. And now because animals reject me, I am very close to trees. You might see me at the Oval.
No, but I do know guys that go out of their way if they really like you. Like I had a guy that I was interested in. No names.
Right.
And he came out with like some of my friends, and he just bought like just rounds of drinks for my friends.
Trying to impress you is money power.
Well, he's just being a nice guy.
You think?
I mean, maybe.
Why can't you give that money to an NGO? There are kids starving right now as we speak.
Is there kids starving in Africa?
Not just Africa, right in Baikala. Okay. Right next to my house. There are 2 outside Malabar Hill. Those are mine. Don't feed them. Don't want to, stop the feeding. In fact, don't feed the lions, don't feed the monkeys, don't feed the brochas. It's there. The signs are everywhere. Check it out. Yeah. All right, but give us the male perspective, Mr. Amit Doshi. Come on, you're single male. At the end of the day, I can't lie and pretend to be single because I'm not.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know what perspective do I give here. I mean,
if you ask a girl out, what are the rules and regulations that you go through, and how do they behave, and how do you behave?
It's tough, right? I mean, the way things.
How do you react when a girl says no? Let's first look at that. May was okay. She says okay, it hurts for a minute or two, but then move on.
Yeah, that's pretty much what you got to do, right? You just got to develop a tough skin.
You have to.
Hopefully not.
Do you hold the wall?
No.
Do you hate the person and go onto Twitter immediately?
No, you can't do that.
You create profiles about her?
You can't get angry about this stuff, right?
Come on, you can. You must. I don't know.
No.
But, but I mean, so, I don't know. I mean, I just feel like you just can't get too bent out of shape about this stuff when you're first starting to go out with somebody, right? It's got to be a little more. But then I'm that kind of guy. I'm a weirdo, right? I mean, compared to most people over here, people get very passionate about about this stuff, and I am not I'm not like that guy who goes oh my god, I'm insane. This girl is awesome. I got to go get her. That's just not me.
Well, there's an ancient Fijian saying which goes like this, which I will translate, and basically it means that getting the date is far easier than getting rid of the date. Let me tell you.
Okay.
And that's in the story for another day. That belongs to my class of society, which
I've been brutal though.
You have?
I have.
Honestly, tell us, how do you reject?
Okay, I will tell you one thing.
In a nice way.
I used to have a rule when I started dating, when I was in college. I decided to have a rule for myself because I knew what bitches women can be.
Bitches. I've told you before, they're just geographical terms. We have beaches all over the beautiful country.
I know.
Come on, go on.
So basically, Kerala bitches, Goa bitches. So
Mumbai bitches?
Yeah.
Okay, don't judge by water.
So I always had this rule because I knew how brutal women can be. I think women find it really easy to say no. I don't realize how difficult it is to ask someone out.
If you know the person saying no is okay, but what if when you know the person and you know he has a crush on you and then you sort of do that half-hearted, you sort of halfway tell them.
So I always had this thing where I had a rule that I always would give a guy one chance. If he asked me out, I will always say yes. I mean, unless he's an absolute creep, but that would be weird. But I would always give them a chance.
On the second date?
Yeah, so if on my second or third date I'm not feeling it, then I would just be like, you know what, it's been really awesome. Can we there's so many, there's an entire booklet full of excuses. It's just I think we should just be friends.
Hate that.
I don't really feel that way about you.
Hate that. That's mean.
And what else is there?
Why can you say things like, I'm leaving the country forever because I'm joining a mission?
I've done that once.
Or I have to serve 12 years in a jail in Takshila which doesn't exist anymore.
I haven't done that.
These kind of things I can live with. But otherwise, it sounds really bad. I don't have feelings for you. The poor person cries more.
No,
it happens.
I think that kind of honesty is just.
And can we just be friends? What does that mean? Do you really want to be friends?
No.
Who wants to be friends?
Yes,
Do you really want to stay in touch with that person?
Yes.
What do you mean by
this
friends?
guy was my friend, and
talk?
he and I used to have such a great bantery chemistry, but I just didn't want to date him.
That was me.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Did I give you that excuse?
No, you didn't. All right.
I came back.
I think we've done enough here. I think we've damaged enough people's psyche when it comes to dating.
I'm so sorry.
Just a quick
Come on, guys. Ask. If you like a girl, ask her out.
No, if you
have
can
the balls.
just one.
Throw some.
Don't ask for things that don't have anymore. But all I would like to say quickly is because nothing seems to have changed from the 80s when Amit and I were in schools and colleges and 90s. And it's the same thing. Introduction, meeting a girl, how to get her to say anything back to you. Ooh. To actually get a girl to go on a date in a positive manner is a huge challenge for the Indian male.
One more thing, girls should
South,
ask guys out.
West.
That's another thing. Not enough girls ask guys out.
That is the other perspective. I'm looking only from the male perspective for a second, and I'm just saying,
God, I need a quota system now.
What are they doing wrong?
Me alone.
How can they go and approach a girl and be confident and get this done?
Just to go up to a girl and say...
Just get a positive response, or at least do it in a way where they feel okay.
I want to get to know you better, so let's hang out
it's
more.
not that hard to ask someone out.
It's so easy. You just be like, I think you're real. And I've had it done to me.
Amit, can you practice on me and show us? I'm just going to show you how difficult it is.
And it's just, hey, May, you want to go for dinner?
Yeah, I'd love to.
There you go. That's it. Done.
What about me, guys? What about me?
You want to come for dinner, Cyrus?
Well, I'll have dinner together.
I don't feel like that about you. I'm on holiday from
I think the thing that Indian guys have difficulty with is just
urinating?
basically... No, just letting stuff...
That's
letting things go, right? I mean, like, you say you want to go for dinner. Somebody says yes, you go for dinner. You say no.
It's
They say no,
that
you don't
simple.
go for dinner. And if they say no, then stop obsessing about it. You shouldn't obsess about people who say no.
We do know how to take defeat.
Yeah.
Defeat is a difficult thing in
Obsessing.
amongst the men.
That happens to men and women.
Yeah.
This is like not even just a guy thing. It happens to women too, where they're just like, I can't believe he did that or he didn't do this or whatever. And I'm like, oh my god.
Oh yeah. I mean, like that
chill.
over analyzing every single.
Yeah.
This is why I'm single, right? Because
All right.
I have no patience for that kind of crap.
And,
I don't
and the
either.
truth
This is why I'm single. Still, I have no patience for that either. It's so annoying.
Well, they may be single. I'm single on Tuesdays and Fridays after 7:30 in the evening. Ladies, please apply. Veg, non-veg, not an issue. Height, weight, never a problem. Just remember, I don't like Louis Vuitton. Don't bring bags. That's all we have time for on this show of Cyrus Says. Thank you so much for clearing the air on so many different topics. Wide variety from whitishness in the Oscars to how a man can ask a woman out in modern day India, and above all to the Saraswati River, which is a mythological river but was the beginning of civilization in India. And if you read the epics, you'll know why.
Cyrus Says, ask me anything. If you want Cyrus to answer your questions on air, send an email to whatcyrussays@gmail.com. If you send us a link to a sound file on SoundCloud, we'll even play you asking the question in your own voice. And that's what Cyrus says.
And now it is the AMA section in a vernacular delivery style.
Okay, so the first question is
Adam and Eve, who came first? That would be the first.
okay, that would be the
Harappa,
first.
Mohenjo-daro. How do you define a civilization? That would be the second.
That would be the second.
Is it Indo-Aryans or Aryans-Indo? You know, once they go inside. Sorry, you have a question?
Okay, I'm sorry. All right. So Cyrus, during the last episode of Cyrus Said, you said we are wrapping up Cyrus Says. Does this mean the podcast is over?
Well, I hope so, but apparently not.
Apparently not.
Cheetos is coming on.
Absolutely not. Not just is it not over, it is now twice a week.
Podcast will be the
Boom,
future.
twice a week.
Maybe podcast is going to be the future because I think, and I may be wrong, that a selective viewership and listenership and everything is going to happen as the years roll on, or even months actually, where people are just going to align themselves to certain things.
No, that's what already happens,
Yeah.
right? I mean, everybody has their own specific news sites, and they go to those news sites, and they don't go anywhere else. The person who wants to read NDTV does not go to First Post, and the person who wants to read First Post does not go to Niti Central. You go to the site which goes to your point of
view. And the other values also, in the same genre will fall into place. So the same First Post will listen to the same kind of entertainment, which is similar, in that sense.
No, so everybody has their own niches, and they work within their own niche.
Yeah.
That's the idea behind
Everyone
it.
loves you though, Cyrus.
Everyone. I'm like Raymond without the money.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Hindi version of Everybody Loves Raymond?
No.
I want to. I've heard it's really
watched
good.
5 minutes. I couldn't bear it.
Really? I heard it was
Can I
well
tell
made.
you, there's so many.
You think?
I have not seen it yet, but I heard it was well made.
Yeah,
Can I tell
like the original.
you, we should do it would be really funny if we had you translated in Hindi. I remember the first time I saw a Hindi translated movie, I was in Port Blair in Andaman, and we went on an island to see Jurassic Park, and they basically meant to say holy shit. And in Hindi, the dubbing was Pavitra Tatti.
Pavitra Sin.
Holy shit.
It's colloquial. It's not right. There's another
That's
word.
what they said.
Sandas is the right word.
Sandas.
They said Pavitra Tatti.
Sandas.
Holy shit was translated.
I will not say the word, but the second word.
What's
You know what I'm
the
talking about.
Maharashtrian word? There's a Maharashtrian word for this.
I'm sorry.
Wait, hug.
Hug.
I know, hug. I know the word for poo in Maharashtra.
You cannot use that. It's colloquial. It's wrong.
Okay.
Well,
Which
that's what happened.
self-respecting dinosaur would talk like that? I mean, come on. Like dinosaur poo, that must be what, like a whole country, And now, Burma! Ridiculous. I apologize immediately, and we move on. Question number 2.
Question number 2 is...
No, the question that I will throw up here is that if you have a question that's interesting on the AMAs that you want us to sound out, just go ahead and write to us on
whatcyrussays@gmail.com. The other thing I wanted to ask people that you could do is on your phones you get these recording apps, so maybe you could just record a question and send that to us, and then we can play that question in your voice so that you're actually answering.
If you have a really funny gag you want to tell us, it's less than 30 seconds, record that as well and send it. We're thinking of starting a new show which is just full of gags.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, there's one, but it's on radio at the moment.
No, but we'll start a lot of new shows. So we'll start another new show with full of. We'll
I
start
want
a
to do one show
guys.
with Falguni Pathak where only I talk.
And she just sits there.
Sings.
She just sits.
All right. That sounds...
I think that's feasible.
Not very interesting on audio.
No, not at all.
No, it'd be terrible.
If you want to do it on audio, we can do it right now. Hey,
Right
Falguni,
now.
how are you?
Let's get lots of stars and do exactly the same thing. Next week, it's Amitabh Bachchan.
Yep.
Stay tuned.
As long as they don't need to talk.
There
I
you go.
don't even need to pay for a mimic then.
Super.
I mean, like, all we need
We've
is to
got it. We've got the best gag ever. So DiCaprio?
Next week, DiCaprio.
In line with the Oscars.
Yeah,
February.
so we'll have
Totally.
DiCaprio next week.
All right, done.
Yep.
Okay. From all of us on this podcast, it's have a very interesting week, all weekend, depending on how drunk you are.
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
All views and opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily the views and opinions of the Indus Vox Media Network or any of our show advertisers or sponsors. No animals were harmed in the making of this podcast, obviously.
All right, watch film critic and writer, my personal friend Anirudh Guha, who's always in a good mood. He talks about the films and TV shows that have changed his dietary preferences and made him into a nervous wreck. Anirudh Guha, with a G. That's Ganirudh. Check it out on ivmpodcast.com.